Alright, I'm Mark Crilley. I'm back with another how to draw video. I've had a lot of people asking me to do a video about how to draw hands. So that's what we're going to do today. I'm going to draw basically a hand that looks like this, sort of an open palm. And I want to give you a lot of guidelines to give you some sense of how to build one of these and get the proportions right. First thing we're going to start is by drawing a rectangle. And it's important to get the shape of this rectangle right to begin with, because everything else is going to be built on it. And I'd say what you're trying to do is create not a perfect square, obviously, and not a super narrow rectangle either, but something maybe along the lines of a standard sheet of paper, 8.5 by 11, that kind of a shape. And you can see that I am sort of making it tilt up a little bit. So if you want to really do exactly what I'm doing here today, you can try doing that. Just give it a little bit of a tilt. But in any case, try to get this shape of this rectangle right, because if you get that off, then everything else I tell you here is going to be off as well. So let's move on to the next thing here. There's a kind of a triangle here that I want you to try to get in. It is not, the point of the triangle is not right in the middle of this side. It's more of like 1/3 from the top, 2/3 from the bottom. Okay? This line right here actually is the only one that we're going to end up using. These points are going to help you, so go ahead and get that in there if you can. Then over here, we want to get a sort of curved line coming off this side, okay? And again, it's not bulging out in a super big way, but it's not real close to the line either. Try to get it just a gentle curve there. And that, just so you know why I'm doing all this, that's going to be where the fingers come off the palm, okay? Now let's just go ahead and begin to indicate where the fingers are going to come out. And they're sort of curving inward as they come off of the palm, okay? But I'm not going to go all the way into drawing all the fingers right now. I think the key thing is to begin by looking at this curved line and breaking it into 4 more or less equal parts where the fingers are going to come out. Notice I start with the middle. You know, it's kind of easy to see the middle. And once you choose that middle line, then it's easy to see the middle line between those two, and then you get those in. That's a good way of getting 4 pretty equal parts. Now the key to drawing the hand in good proportions is to get the length of this middle finger right. And what you can use as a guideline, if you've used my approach of drawing a rectangle, is look at the distance between this part and not all the way down here, but this sort of imaginary line that we're not even going to see at the end. If you get that distance repeated over here, more or less, then you know where this finger stops. And that can be one of the tricks in any kind of a drawing. When you have something kind of shooting off into space, it becomes tricky to know, where do I stop? Where, you know, how long is a good finger supposed to be, and why do my fingers, when I draw them, look too short or sometimes too long? So use that as the basis, and once we've got this finger delineated, then the other fingers are going to be based upon it. One thing that happens, and look at your own hand, is you can see that the longest finger, the middle finger, compared to these other 2 fingers, they sort of both drop back by about the same distance. So try to get that in your drawing. Pull this finger down just a little bit from that front one, and this one as well, more or less the same. I was looking at my finger and wondering if this one, which one was longer between the two, but it's pretty much the same in terms of proportions. The key thing, though, is that the pinky drops way back compared to those two. So try to just get a sense of that, that it's not a gradual kind of set of stairs or something. It suddenly drops off quite a bit down here as you go for the pinky. All right, so now that we've got that in place, I think I'm just going to maybe move from there to doing the thumb So look at this, and this is getting a little bit picky, but if you've got that rectangle that we've done, you can make this line go up just a touch more. This is the line of this base of the palm here. If you make it go up just a touch more, then you're going to get the anatomy right here. Pretend you're drawing the trunk of a tree, is my best advice on this part of drawing the thumb. It sort of looks, this part here and this part here, sort of looks like the trunk of a tree. But stop when you get to this point out here, and sort of make the knuckle, make the thumb bend back a little bit. I think artists maybe sometimes exaggerate this a little bit, this tendency of the thumb to bend back a little bit, but it does help it read as a proper thumb. Even if, look at your own thumb, see, does it really have such an exaggerated bend to it? Maybe it does. That's the problem with doing a tutorial on how to draw the hand. Everyone's got a different hand. So this one's based on my hand. Your hand may be different. In any case, that's the thumb sort of divided in half. And if you're looking for the proper length of the thumb, compare it to the pinky. If you've got the pinky right, they are more or less the same distance, I'd say, from here to the bottom. So that can be a useful guideline. Let's go ahead and get the bottom part here. I think it's not maybe as flat as I'd originally drawn here. Give just a little bit of an extra curve here to get the bottom of the palm. And then the wrist is coming off of this little rough triangle that we had drawn earlier. Just pull these lines off here. And now we've got the proper contours of the hand, more or less. When I look at my hand, I see basically two folds of flesh coming off here, two major ones. So if you've got this, the sort of trunk of the tree thing we were talking about, that's one of them. Pull this off as a second one, and maybe that's enough for getting those folds of the flesh. Now, here's where things can become tricky. We're going to try to get these lines that are at the base of the fingers. I'd say get one line there. Maybe these two sort of pull down a little bit. It's sort of like the flesh is being pulled down. And on my hands, there's quite a gap between the fingers at the base, and they close together, when they're in this position. So I'm going to try to get that into my drawing. Get that sort of gap that occurs between each one of those fingers. Well, we're coming up on 8 minutes, and so I'm not going to get too much into the details of things in this tutorial. Half the time when you're drawing a hand for, like a manga, like I'm doing for my manga Miki Falls, you don't need to get into too many details, but suffice to say that this finger divides into about 3 equal parts, and that becomes those lines of the finger, and each one of them will follow that same kind of rule of dividing into 3 separate parts. And the pinky is so much shorter that its top separate part line, the line sort of meets this line over here. Or, you can look at your own hand and see how that works out on your hand. As far as the lines on the interior of the hand here, I'd say the most important one to get is this sort of curve at the bottom of the thumb. There's like a ball of flesh here at the bottom of the thumb, and I think when you're drawing a hand, people want to see that. You can make a sort of a second indication of lines here. Quite a number of lines here at the bottom. I would just sort of put in 1 or 2 of the sort of folds of the flesh, and people tend to want to see some lines here, although again, I wouldn't go overboard if I were you in terms of putting lots of lines in there. Well, unfortunately, we are down toward the end now. I just want to quickly remind some of the people out there who maybe don't know about Miki Falls, my new manga series in stores. This is the first book, Spring, Summer, out there, and just last week, Miki Falls Autumn hit the shelves. So thanks in advance if you keep an eye out for that. And thanks for watching my videos, friends. We'll be back with a whole bunch real soon because I'm finally done with my work. Thanks for watching. We'll be back soon.